You are listening to episode number 26 of the Let's Go Comic Show. My name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey. I'm doing all right, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. We're back at it 2 weeks in a row.
Man,
No time off now,
feels
man.
good. That hasn't happened in a while.
It feels like, why do we need to do another episode? We just did one. But there's always stuff happening, and so here on the Let's Go Comic Show, we're here to help you make good decisions with your comic buying life. And so we've made a very intricate, well thought out, scientifically worked out by Reed Richards himself system of rating. So starting it off, we're gonna have a theme this week. Our theme will be chips. So a gotta go, in my opinion, I'm gonna say Doritos. That is a gotta go type of a chip, right? Would you agree with me?
No.
Matt doesn't agree with me. Okay, fine. But
I'm
doing the list this week.
You're doing the list.
I'm doing the so. A let's go would be, okay, you know what? Sour cream and onion, like ranch type of chips. You know what I'm talking about? Sour cream, onion, like Ridges. Those are good. I'm not a big potato chip guy. So there's my let's go. A go is just like, I don't know, some Fritos. Like those are good. Like some people love them. Some people like them. You know, maybe put them on some like bacon cheddar ranch dip and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Then you get to like a don't go. Like, man, you know what I don't want? I don't want vinegar chips. That's gross. I don't like the smell of vinegar, and I don't want them on my chips. That's a don't go.
That whole list is just so
but here, it's preference too. Some people might go, hey, we really feel like we're connecting with your choices, Justin, and your chip situation is similar to my chip situation. Now, Matt, on the other hand, he might have different opinions. What is a gotta-go chip for you?
That would be cheddar, sour cream, and onion.
There you go.
Ruffles.
Okay. There you go. All right. What about
it's like
a
one of
let's
the best
go?
chips there.
What is your let's go on a chip?
Chili cheese Fritos.
Okay, that's cool. I don't disagree. What about a go? What is like? It's an average
Like
chip.
salt and pepper kettle chips.
Okay. Yeah, Matt has a way fancier taste than me. And then your don't go on chips.
Don't go on chips. Ooh, whatever weird flavors Lay's or Doritos is doing.
Really?
Those are almost never worth it.
I don't like Cool Ranch. I just like Doritos.
What?
I don't like Cool Ranch Doritos.
I don't understand that.
Dude, regular Doritos, like nacho Doritos, that is the
Cool Ranch Doritos
the
are
high
better
point
than nacho Doritos.
chips. Anyways, we're gonna have varying opinions on this show, but hey, that's what's fun.
We're still friends at the end of the day.
Dude, at the end, we shake hands at the end of every episode to make sure that we're all good.
We should probably start shaking hands after this episode.
We should start shaking hands, but maybe we disagree about shaking hands. Maybe Matt feels like it's just a go, and I'm like, it's gotta go. Anyways, there we go. So now you guys can follow along as we rate things, and you'll understand where we're coming from. So, and much like Doritos, I think licking a comic book is a tasty way to finish it up at the end of.
Wow.
No, just
You're
joking.
not borrowing my comic books anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Matt is like, hey, I've been wondering why the corners are all weird.
That's, I was thinking that would be like the next evolution in how to unlock your smartphone. Maybe like with the next iPhone, you have to lick it. Like that's your special way to do that instead of taking a picture of your face.
That's really funny. Yeah. Did you watch all that Apple stuff?
Yeah, I watched most of it.
I watched a little bit with you.
Yeah, it was on at work, so
Yeah.
I saw a little bit there, and then Brittany and I usually watch it like the night of. Like we'll just go on Apple TV.
You're like,
and
hey
pull
girl,
it.
you want to watch something
Hey, you want to
romantic?
snuggle up with a glass of wine and some technology?
Yo, girl, you want that 8 or do you want that 10X? Like, there's just no 9. Like, hey, you guys, we're just gonna skip the 9.
9.
And
I totally thought of a nerdy like thing when he said iPhone 8. I was like, oh, that you could break that up in like iPhone 8. Like I make sound. iPhone 8. That's what I use the iPhone 8 for, is to iPhone 8.
Did you see all the
I didn't see the all the stuff for the 10 because my wife fell asleep.
yeah,
like, well,
it's the future and stuff like that. So,
I was actually most excited for. I want to get an Apple TV 4K.
Yeah, that was cool. Well, I thought it was
because
cool.
I've had a 4K TV for like a year now, but
Yeah.
not much 4K content to put on it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, sweet, I'll do that.
Well, the cool thing is, it says iTunes will upgrade all your stuff. I'm like, there we go.
Yep, and buying new ones, it's going to be the price
Same
that
price.
HD movies are now.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to buy Baby Driver this week, and it's going to be great.
All right, so are you going to get the 4K like Apple TV when it comes out?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like I that was what I was most excited about, honestly, out of all the stuff I saw.
Yeah.
Like the phone stuff is fine. Like I'm not opposed to getting a upgraded phone, but that was the thing I was most excited about for that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm like, I just got the new Apple TV last year. I don't have a 4K TV, so I'll just wait until whatever. I'm not like ready to. I don't have to jump on it yet, but
Totally.
I like the new Apple TV. So
And then I mean I like that they used Spider-Man Homecoming as like their example,
I saw that. It was
clip.
like they had Spider-Man Homecoming and they had Lego Batman right next to it. I was like, oh, play both. You know, it was
Comics
weird.
represent, dude.
Dude, comics that's how we tie it here. Comics represent. Did you see J.J. Abrams in the crowd?
Yeah, and John Lasseter.
And I saw Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder. They were
No,
there.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool. I didn't see that.
everyone's there. So,
Yeah.
so it was just kind of cool to see all like the Hollywood people there. You're like, oh, there we go.
Hey, they look unimpressed too.
They're there. They're like, oh, okay.
Like, I don't need my phone to look at my face.
Why did I come here? So speaking of J.J. Abrams, so last week we kind of talked about Star Wars. Like, hey, they fired their director.
Dude, that transition was killer, by the way. Way to go.
Right? Dude, they call me the transition. You know what I'm talking about? They call me the transition. So the transitioner. I will take you from one place to another. It sounds like a bad Flash villain from the 90s, the transitioner. Yeah. So
yeah, we'll get to bad Flash villains later.
we're gonna get to bad Flash villains later. So J.J. Abrams directed Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then so they got rid of their director for Episode 9, and so now J.J. Abrams is back in the seat. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I liked The Force Awakens, and I think I'm encouraged that I think I have to remember, like I couldn't tell you exactly where it was, but I feel like I remember reading something after The Force Awakens, maybe it was like out on video or something like that, where he was kind of reflecting on like, yeah, there's definitely a lot I learned from it, and I think I know what I would do differently.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, cool. Like this is like an opportunity for him to improve on the things that I think all of us were like, I mean, that movie was really solid. It was just really safe, I think is what most people thought it felt like. Like it was just like, yeah, like you're doing all the typical archetypes of characters and it's kind of a similar story. So it wasn't like bad. And I think some people, they were expecting like a big left turn. Yeah, were like bummed by it. But I'm like, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It was a great Star Wars movie.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like, I saw a lot of negative stuff just on Twitter. Like in general, Twitter's negative, but a lot of the news has been like, oh, he's safe and he's this and he's that, and I didn't have a problem with
exactly though. I think that's exactly the point though.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I said. I said something to the effect of like Lucasfilm is protective of Star Wars.
Yeah, you said that on the show last week.
Did I? Oh, okay,
yeah.
Maybe I did. But J.J. Abrams showed that, hey, I'm gonna like honor what we've kind of established, what people love about Star Wars, and that's why I think Episode 7 was a great movie. When you saw those trailers too, just what he did, it's just seeing that Millennium Falcon fly through the daytime and stuff was amazing. You watch that stuff, and then that end scene with Luke, like everything he did. If you want to say it's the same story that was already done, whatever, dude. Who cares? Like I loved Finn, I loved Kylo Ren, I liked Poe, I liked Rey, like all that stuff is awesome, and I can't wait to continue to see. Like I'm looking forward to Episode 8 by what's his name?
Ryan Johnson. So him coming to finish out 9, cool. I'm not like it. In any other case, people would be like, it needs to be the same guy. Like Christopher Nolan did 3 Batman movies, right? Like everyone thought that was cool. J.J. Abrams coming to finish up the Star Wars movie. I think it's cool. You know, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I think he makes good movies.
Yeah,
like whether it's your preference or not.
Yeah,
that's
the whole lens flare thing. It's
that is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, that joke's old. We get it.
But that was more obvious, I feel like, in the Star Trek movies though than in The Force Awakens.
Yeah. His writing, like I don't really have it. Like some people said, like he doesn't land it very well, but he's gonna write it with Chris Terrio.
Yeah.
Who
so that's fine.
Wrote Batman vs Superman.
Hey.
So at
he
one
did not
point,
write Batman v Superman by himself though.
Well, it was based on some, what's his face?
Didn't Goyer,
and then he came in. So the only problem is at the end of this, you're gonna find out that who Rey's mom is. It's
Martha. Why did you say that name?
So okay,
dude. So you're telling me, I was just to revisit this. I want to make sure I'm hearing you clearly.
Yeah.
You're okay with this Star Wars movie being a very similar story to a previous Star Wars movie,
I didn't say that.
but you're not okay. No, you said like it's a similar story, but that's okay.
What do you mean? It's a similar story. I didn't
It
say
plays
that.
out similarly. It has like all the same parts.
I said episode 7.
Yeah,
I mean, there was parts where like, okay, because I think it was trying to.
but I'm just saying, like you seemed like you're in.
Okay, fine. I'll go with
You're
this. Walk me.
in favor of that, but yet like you always like rip on Doctor Strange
always.
for always, man. Not always on the show. Just you just tell me how much Doctor Strange is just a rehash of another story.
Yeah.
So can it be something where you still enjoy it even if it feels like it's similar to a previous story?
But I didn't say I didn't enjoy Doctor Strange. I think I was just kind of like, it was this beat for beat like Iron Man, where Star Wars can be beat for beat another Star Wars story because that's how Star Wars stories are. They're structured a certain way. So I think that's where I don't have a big problem with it.
Okay.
So, but I understand what you're saying, and if it doesn't make sense, and if
I don't call you out on Twitter like other people, so
No,
I just
some
gotta,
people do.
this
Some
is
people
this is my format
you.
to call you out.
there you go. Hey, if you want to call me out, just in person, let's do it. That'll work. But yeah, man, I don't have a huge issue with that. So yeah, so that's Star Wars, and that's coming out. I guess. Oh, here's the other thing. What's about Star Wars is it's not going to be in May anymore. Now they're going to move back to December,
to December
which that's where Wonder Woman 2 is going to be. So I wonder if Wonder Woman 2 will move. I think it should.
earlier.
Yeah, they should do it either earlier or just push it back. Because here's the thing: you don't want to compete. You just don't want to compete with Star Wars. I already feel like
Yeah.
Justice League is too close to Star Wars this year, and Thor.
True.
I don't know how that's going to play out.
I mean, I'm going to see all of them. But
Yeah, I'm going to see all of them, but I know
Probably more
box
than
office
once.
is huge for these movies, and I think Warner Brothers should push Justice League out a little bit.
yeah.
It'll be probably negative for a little bit, but most people don't care about it being pushed out. Like, average people are going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Comic fans are like, no, they're going to freak out, and people are going to say, it's this and this and this. I just say, push it out, send it to March again. BVS went in March, made like $800 billion. So put this thing in March, and it should be fine. And it'll give them a little more time to kind of like finish up filming. Anyways.
Well, that's another piece of news since our last show is that Patty Jenkins is now officially confirmed to be directing Wonder Woman 2.
And that was kind of like, it kind of like, dude,
not a big shocker.
If she didn't do it, it was going to be like, come on, you guys. Like,
We can all pretend to be shocked
this
right
is, I'm shocked. I'm shocked they didn't announce it sooner. That's what I'll tell you. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I just have been watching Wonder Woman a few times, all the special features. Oh, dude,
I need to do that.
There's a, what do we need to do?
I need to do that. Like, I need to watch this.
Have you watched it yet?
No.
Do you have it? There's kind of like a after credit scene on this movie.
Cool.
That they didn't put in the movie. It's totally I feel like they filmed this after credit scene, and then they decided, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's kind of a connectivity type of thing.
Okay.
It's longer than most cutscenes, though.
Interesting.
And they don't really do cutscenes. They kind of did that one in Suicide Squad with
Right.
Bruce Wayne and Amanda Waller. But other than that, it was really cool. And I was like, I like that, and I kind of like the idea of it being on the home release of the movie. But it was cool. I was into it, and I'll talk to you about it whenever you watch it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe like in
Maybe after
a
you
week or
watch it,
so.
yeah, go get
when
it.
I watch it.
Dude,
I mean, I need to get Baby Driver. I need to get Captain Underpants. I need to get Wonder Woman. Those are on my list.
very cool. So, okay, so speaking of other movies coming out, dude, today's Wednesday, by the way. So we probably listened to this show on Friday or whatever. But Wednesday, on Twitter, the director of Hellboy kind of put out this really freaking awesome picture. Like, I don't think anyone saw it coming because I didn't even know they were doing I
feel like the actor did it though, right?
Huh? Well, no.
David Harbour did.
David Harbour put out a picture of himself in black and white.
Oh,
I think
okay.
the director put out the color picture. So, the director. Oh gosh, this movie, by the way, is coming out in 2018, I think. But Neil Marshall's doing it, and I'm trying to remember if he actually put the photo out. I thought he put the photo out, but whoever, that doesn't even matter. This picture is freaking rad, dude. So people who are like, oh man, I don't know. Dude,
love it.
It's awesome, man. And it just...
Oh, did Mike Mignola put it out?
Did Mike Mignola put it out? Maybe he did.
I don't know. It looks like Hellboy.
Yeah, it looks like... I think it looks like Glenn Danzig from Danzig and the Misfits. If you don't know who that is, just look up Glenn Danzig. And I actually tweeted out a picture today. It was side by side, and I'm like...
That is pretty funny.
His face just looks like Danzig, but...
Dude, you know what? It looks like Ron Perlman, like
Yeah.
like with the prosthetics and whatever they're doing
Mhm.
on the face. Like I was like, Justin sent me this today over text message, and I was like, is that a new thing or is that like?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even really tell. And now that I look at it, I mean, obviously there's differences. The right hand like looks a little different. The horns like have some different detail to them.
Yeah, they look a little more like. It looks a little more dirty. You know. What
Yeah,
I'm saying?
everything looks a little more gnarly for sure.
Yeah. And so, but
And it's supposed to be a
doesn't look
scarier
terrible.
movie. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be a little more dark, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I really like, the tone of Hellboy. You know, like
When Guillermo del Toro did it,
yeah,
Yeah.
well, he did both of them. And
Yeah.
so
Golden Army was fantastic.
Golden Army was dude, that movie.
It was dark, but it had like this like fantastical kind of
I
vibe
thought
to
it was
it.
really fun, like him and Abe Sapien connecting, and Doug Jones actually getting to be Abe Sapien that time,
Yeah.
instead of the dude David Hyde Pierce, was it?
Oh yeah, the
The
guy
guy
from
who-
Frasier.
Frasier guy. Like I was like, come on, Doug Jones can do this. Like, come on, let him do it. Anyways,
Yeah.
I just there's a little bit of like, oh, I wish Guillermo del Toro could have done a third, but it sounds like Mike Mignola was like, no. So I don't I don't know all the story of it, and I don't want to like speculate, but it sounds like we're gonna have someone else do it. We're gonna
This seems. I
restart
feel
this.
like the biggest difference I noticed was actually around his mouth.
Yeah.
Like it feels like his mouth, like the line for it and the way that the kind of like the lips on it come out, like it reminds me of like Mike Mignola's illustrations more. There's like a hard edge to it more, and it doesn't look just like a normal person's mouth.
Yeah. There's definitely this is not a profile, so this is a straight on shot. So there maybe it is a little more pronounced. Maybe it has a little more like Hellboy like look to it. So who knows? I wonder if I'll have hooves, because Perlman didn't have hooves, but
That's true.
Perlman's like Hellboy looks a little more cuddly. I know he's a big red guy, but he just seems a little more like friendly. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And this one just looks like he is gonna beat you down. And so
Yeah, he looks pretty scary.
yeah, he looks really scary. Like the hair kind of draping over his shoulders. Like, oh man, that's
I mean, he looks rad. Like
he looks,
badass, but kind of scary.
yeah, looks really
You'd be
good.
pretty worried if you ran into him.
Yeah, Fist of Doom looks. I think I like how the Perlman one looks, but it's literally just a picture, and I don't want to like break it down so much.
Totally, but it's
yeah.
great. I'm excited for it. This image makes me excited to see more images and more visuals from this movie.
And that's the thing. I didn't even know they were filming it, so I don't know if it's a makeup test or what.
Dude, who knows? I mean, they don't even have a release date for it yet.
All I know, it's supposed to come out in 2018, and I think the only thing is, and I don't want to say I'm missing anything, because I'm not missing anything. You know, like I'm not going to lament and like, oh, they should have done this and made it this way. But Doug Jones was really cool as Abe Sapien. Like that's just like, that's one of the things. Oh, you're not going to get that back. You know, just aren't. And then whatchamacallit? What's her name? She who played Liz Sherman. I can't think of her name right now, but she was really good. And I will miss her. I will miss Selma Blair. That's who it was.
Oh
Selma
yeah,
Blair.
Selma
She was great as Liz
Blair.
Sherman, and so well, whatever. I'm looking forward to it. I like Hellboy. He's a good idea. And speaking of Hellboy, just check out some of the stuff that Paulo Rivera is doing on Hellboy right now. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So check that out. And so to end on some of the news this week, this is not good news. This is totally sad news. So earlier this week, Len Wein passed away, and they haven't said why, but we just wanted to give it a little bit of attention because he was one of those guys that his work is kind of transcendent and is still there today. So if you were like a fan of X-Men, like Matt Ritchie was, like
yeah, I mean, we have my enjoyment of the X-Men comic books in the 90s is kind of a direct correlation to like that wouldn't have been possible without his work in the 70s with it was Giant X-Men #1, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Co-creator of Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler, among other characters, but that was kind of after half a decade of the X-Men not being published, not really being present necessarily in the books.
Yeah.
That's what kind of brought him back and really shot this whole thing out for another 20 years, like going strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Great Wolverine.
that for me, like, yeah, I mean, Wolverine, that's another, I mean,
Yeah.
a product many people enjoyed in the 90s and thereafter.
Yeah.
Like he created that back in the Hulk
it
story,
was in the
like,
Hulk
right?
when- yeah, he was in Canada and Wendigo and all that stuff.
Wendigo, eh?
Wendigo, eh?
Yeah, I mean, and then the other big one was he was co-creator of Swamp Thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big deal. I actually have that issue.
No way.
Yeah, I have it. My uncle gave it to me, and it's beat up. It's like it's worth nothing, but I love it
so
because
cool.
it's Swamp Thing #1, and it's cool. It's like ripped up. I'll try to dig through my box and post a picture because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was telling Justin the other night when this happened, we were texting back and forth about it and just, you know what I mean? Like reminiscing, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also like just pulled up his Wikipedia biography, and it's kind of crazy to look at just how prolific he was.
Mm.
Okay, this comes with a disclaimer, and Justin can prove me wrong if I am wrong, because it does come from Wikipedia. Where
Yeah.
everyone can put whatever they want on there, so you know you're getting the best information, as Michael Scott would say.
It's his best as it can get.
Did he create Lucius Fox? I feel like I read that there.
He may have. I don't know who created Lucius Fox, but probably because he was doing a lot of DC work. Like here's the thing about him. He did both.
He was prolific,
He was
man.
Marvel and DC, and so I think he may
Yes,
have.
he did.
It was in the 70s. I know that, and so that's when he was doing a lot of that stuff. So yeah, probably did. And there you go, Lucius Fox. Like
Yeah, he created a Morgan Freeman character.
yeah, they were get busy swimming, or get busy dying.
Yeah, so Batman number 307, January 1979.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And so, yeah, well, I knew it was in the 70s somewhere. So
Yeah, it made it in there. But you have to see, like, I mean, Len Wein, not only did he co-create characters, not only did he write iconic stories, but also as an editor, like he had a huge impact on comic books and comic book stories.
yeah.
Probably one of the most notable ones is he was the editor for Watchmen.
Yeah, exactly. Huge.
So
I mean, he
work
edited
with Dave Gibbons and Alan Moore.
He edited a lot of.
He edited Alan Moore actually quite a bit, right?
Yeah, and he did a lot of DC stuff. He did a lot of DC stuff.
Alan Moore has a very like I don't know what's the right word. Like he has a very significant like take on Swamp Thing and a run for the character, and Len Wein edited that as well. And so you can just see he's one of those guys like if you know much about comic books, like you kind of take that next step a little deeper, you're going to see his presence in a lot of really key things over the last 50 years of comic books.
Yeah, and I feel like he's one of those guys, right? Not forgotten, because I think if you know comics, and especially if you're like really like you know what the heck you're reading, if you heard his name, you'd be like, oh yeah, you know for sure he created Swamp Thing and Wolverine. I think those are the two like those are the ones. But there's a lot of like ancillary characters that like you're mentioning Lucius Fox. Like I didn't know that, but that makes total sense. But I know he created like an Arkham character, like someone who's part of the Arkham line, and I think he created a lot of like. I think he created a Punisher villain, like Jigsaw.
Nice.
And I think he did.
He created Human Target, which I mean, not a huge
but
A-list hero, but
there's been a TV show.
There's been 2 TV shows.
There was a long time ago in the 90s. There was,
and the character was on the last season of Arrow.
Yeah. So again, he's got like kind of like lineage. You know, he's made his stamp in like comics. And a lot of people write stuff, and it doesn't stick. But yeah, he's got stuff that stuck, and he's been a part of huge things like Watchmen. Who doesn't talk about Watchmen? And Watchmen's going to come back again with this whole like Doomsday Clock stuff. And so,
and so you just see it makes me think of just that kind of cliche, like that phrase of standing on the shoulders, and I feel like comic books, you can see that when it's done well,
Yeah.
you see that almost more than any other art form. I would say movies would be the other one too, where you see references and people are kind of building on top of what other people have done. But I mean, I would say even as we like talk about Dark Knight's Metal number 2 later, that is an example of a story that's standing on the shoulders of stories that have come before. And when you see that, like I look at like X-Men characters that I really love, Colossus is on there, Nightcrawler's on there, Storm is on there. Do you know what I mean? Like you have like some of the coolest characters that exist in that realm of stories in X-Men. This guy had a hand in.
Yeah, I feel like John Byrne gets a lot of the credit of the popularity of X-Men, like kind of rescuing them. But I really feel like it was Len Wein coming in there and like
he got it started.
Yeah, he really got it. Like
so you have like John Byrne, you have Chris Claremont, you have these guys that came in and kind of like took the torch. You know what I mean? Like as he passed it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's you know, again, we don't know what happened, and so it's sad. But the cool thing is you have all this stuff to kind of honor him by, and so go read, you know, stuff by Len Wein. You know, again, last week we were on the Batman on Film show. Ryan was talking about Legends of Batman, and I think this is earlier in the day. I think he passed. News came later on, and he was talking about the Legends of Batman, like stuff that some of the origin stuff, and like we were talking about the origin of Batman. Anyways, so it came up, and it's
Tales of the Batman, right?
Was it? I think it was the Untold Legends of the Batman. Maybe, I don't know. I could be off, but I'm just saying. Either way, he's contributed to everything. So everything that you like, you may not even know, and it's because it was, forged a long time ago by Len Wein. So,
yeah, it's crazy to think of him like there's that whole era of creators. Like he and Marv Wolfman were like friends.
Okay.
Like and broke into the business together.
Nice.
Like at the same time. And I was like, that's just crazy to think, because you think I mean, maybe it's just my perception and stuff and what I've been familiar with, but Marv Wolfman, like you hear that name and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, Teen Titans, like the new Teen Titans
and
stuff like that.
And to think like, oh yeah, him and Len Wein, like same kind of era.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So I've been reflecting on that a lot this last week about I don't know, man, just the sense of gratefulness. Like, I think that's how I'm kind of dealing with, like, I was telling Justin, it just feels weird to be sad about someone you've never met passing. But I think you look at a legacy like that, and I just can't help but just have a sense of gratefulness for so many of the stories and the characters that I've enjoyed are a direct, like, correlation to this guy and his work and his legacy that he's left. And, I don't know. I think sometimes I think that's the best way to honor someone is just gratefulness for what they leave behind.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. Hugh Jackman, who played Wolverine for like ever and ever and ever, actually gave him
for a long time.
Yeah. for like 37 years. No. Kind of gave him props, and some of these guys, they create stuff, and I feel like they're kind of left out of the deal at the end of the day, like once a movie's made, and
they're not like the big names that are constantly in the news,
Yeah. And so I feel that it was cool for someone of his caliber to like recognize him and say, hey, this guy did some amazing stuff, and I wouldn't be here. Like, he's the reason.
I was going to say,
he's the reason that
Hugh Jackman
I get to play
has that job because of this guy.
Exactly. And so kind of pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff. So, what I wanted to just kind of end it with was, I pulled a quote and I put it on the Instagram, like when we posted about it. It was from that first issue of X-Men he did, and I feel like it was really fitting. It said, "From the ashes of the past, there grow the fires of the future." And so it's true with what he did, and it will live on in comics. All right, so there's no really eloquent way to transition out of that, but
there's not.
But so we're gonna get into some reviews, and we're gonna talk about the second issue of DC's
Dark Knight Metal. So before we get into that, though, Justin. I know you've had a busy day.
Dude,
so busy. You're not gonna give a a rating for all of the books that you got today.
Nope.
I'm going to go ahead and get mine out of the way, and then we'll jump into some Dark Knight's Metal.
Okay, fine. It's like when you go watch a heavy metal band. Sometimes you have to watch the openers. So right now, here's the openers. Here's the opening bands.
Oh man. So
sometimes they're
it
better.
ended up being a bigger week than I thought it was going to. I was thinking, okay, Secret Empire's done. Like, there's a couple other things like I'm not going to pick up
It's
anymore.
Secret Empire, the prologue.
Dang it. Well, if they did the prologue at the end of the story, that would be a bad prologue. Since that's supposed to be at the beginning.
Isn't the prelude in the beginning?
Prologue is the beginning. Epilogue is the end.
Oh, that's right. So the epilogue. It's Marvel. It was shipped late, you know.
Who knows, man? Every other week except for the last two or Tour Weekly, whatever. So I'll just go through my books real quick and just give a rating, not to go into super big detail. It's been a few months since the last issue, but Will Eisner's The Spirit, Corpse Makers, Chapter 4 by Francesco Francavilla. One of my favorite artists out there right now. He's the best. He's the best. It's a great story. Not a great story. It's a great book. Mm-hmm. Really great art. Okay story. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it seems fitting for The Spirit. Like, it seems kind of cheesy, the dialogue and stuff. But it seems like, I mean, he's just trying to emulate, I think, a classic mystery, like kind of pulp comic book. Yeah. So it's nothing like super fancy story-wise. But man, is it nice to look at. Yeah. So I would for sure give this a go. I think it's a solid, like, check it out. I think opinions will differ based on what your preference is for writing style and that kind of stuff. The Flash number 30. This is start of a new arc, Bloodwork, part 1. Hey. That's the name of the villain, dude.
His name's Bloodwork?
Yep. Because he can control the blood in other people, and then he somehow uses his blood to make himself into like a bad guy, like to form a costume, which is a really morbid. Nope. It's just not that good, man. It makes me sad.
That doesn't even sound compelling.
No. And here's the thing.
Is it Josh Williamson?
Still Josh Williamson. A new artist with some real weird angles and stuff on characters. Like, things look a little wonky. With some really cool layouts, though. And the colors are really nice. Are great. I know. See, I'm trying to find something positive. Yeah. Man. We try to stay positive around here.
Nope. Not me. Not me.
Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite, but I'm going to give it a don't go, but I'm still going to see what happens in this story arc. Just because we're still in this thing. Even if you haven't been following the book, you've just been listening to us talk about it here and there the last month or so. You have kind of a change of, dynamic in the story, because you have Barry Allen no longer is getting his powers from the Speed Force, but the negative Speed Force. And so it's kind of this unpredictable thing that he's trying to figure out how to do. And I feel like that's interesting. That's interesting, even if this bad guy is completely not interesting.
Is there a better name for this bad guy?
I don't know. And he even talks about coming up with the name for himself, dude. I will read this panel.
Oh gosh, here we go. Matt Ritchie reads.
And it's because he is a hemophiliac growing up, by the way.
Dude, hemophiliac would be a better name.
It's true.
Blood.
So
work.
He says, blah, blah, blah. It's all a bit on the nose, but it's fun. Captain Cold, Heat Wave, Weather Wizard, Mirror Master.
No.
What should I call myself? He's like, you're not a rogue, Ramsey.
They straight call him like.
He's like, you're not a rogue. And then he's like, hey, you've tested me and you've shown me how powerful I am, basically. Blood work will make you the victim is the last page.
Let me see it really quick. It's not in the same vein of Heat Wave and Captain Cold.
It's not.
Blood work.
Because he's trying to be an actual threat to where the other guys, like,
he looks like a bad version of Carnage.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Makes me sad.
Here,
guys, it makes me sad. I love The Flash. I want to give it a chance. I'm more interested in the few panels that The Flash has been in things like Metal.
Yeah. I'm more interested in The Flash in this Snickers commercial where he stops Gorilla Grodd and he turns him into a kid again. Like,
Anyway,
that's way more interesting.
So I gave my rating on the book, right?
Yeah.
It's a don't go. Like, let me take the L for you guys on this one. It's.
I'm not even into the
Blood
art,
work.
really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the art's not very good.
Dude, they should call him like coagulate or something.
Non-coagulate.
Non-coagulator. Anti-coagulate.
All right, so before we get into metal, last one
Yeah.
that I got other than metal is going to be Mr. Miracle #2. I need to find a second printing of issue #1 because I read Justin's and I was like,
You still have mine,
why
right?
did I not get that? Yeah, you mean mine?
I'm gonna interrupt really quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have good friends, and sometimes you have rad friends. I'm gonna give Matt Ritchie a gotta go in the friend department.
What?
Because I couldn't make it to the comic shop today, and he went out and he did it. He's like, I'm gonna get everything that you need.
I got everything you need.
He's my pusher man. So thank you, man. Just FYI, I just want the world to know.
Help a friend out.
Help a friend out. So there you go. FYI.
Oh, thanks, man. So Mr. Miracle #2, we like just talked about Mr. Miracle
Yeah.
#1
It was
a
a
few
month
weeks
late, but it was
late.
good. It was a primer.
Mr. Miracle #2 continues to be rad. I think there's a couple aspects of it. So this is non-spoilery because Justin has not had a chance to read it yet. So the art is still really. I was trying to think of a word for it after last week because I said beautiful. I'm like, it's not beautiful because then you would think like, oh, it's pretty. It's. I feel like it's really visceral.
Yeah.
It feels just really like it kind of grabs you by the gut.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is it's a little more traditional and a little more straightforward in multiple ways in this issue because you have a 9-panel grid through the entire issue.
Yeah.
Which I think makes it really interesting. There's some really great pacing, some really good, like it's used well. Coloring is still used to a great effect. You get a few more characters being brought into it. Some really interesting story potential being brought in towards the end of the issue to where you're kind of, still kind of kept wondering like, what is really going on?
Yeah.
Like I see what's happening in these panels, but what's kind of happening in between them, you know? That book is still a gotta go, man. That's some of the more compelling comic stuff that I've read recently.
I'm really excited to read that. Like, after kind of listening back to the
we
show
can revisit it next week too if you want.
Just
if you
keep
feel
talking
like you got to
Mr.
talk about it, yeah.
Well, it's one of those books that like, and we kind of talked about it. Like someone made a quote, and I don't know where it was from. I don't know if Tom King made it or not, but said that it's a 12-issue run, and the goal is to make it something as good as Watchmen, which is like you don't just make claims like that. And so I'm really excited to read it, and it made me excited I went like to kind of like go through it again. So it was such a fun book, and you're just like, what the heck is going on? I remember reading it like, what the heck is going on? This is great. He killed him. So what? It was such a cool idea. And I'm like, I just love the work that Tom King does. And I'm excited for how this ends up. So just the fact that you're excited about it makes me excited about it. So
yeah, it definitely reminds me of how I felt reading like The Vision and stuff like that, where you're like, dude, this is like heavy. It feels heavy. Like, man, there's a lot of heavy stuff going on.
Yeah. Because you don't tend to think Mr. Miracle and heavy.
Nope.
Like at least I didn't. Because again, my first, walk
Justice League
was Justice League International, where it was a little more lighthearted. There was drama, but anyways, get Mr. Miracle. Don't be a Matt Ritchie. Don't get a second print. Get that first print.
I know, dude.
Matt's like bummed. And
heck, dude?
just a little like, if you're loving a comic book, tell people about it on Twitter. I saw someone today, and I don't know, it was a creator, and they were like, hey, if you're loving comics, tell people, because comics live and die by you telling people about it. And if you're loving Mr. Miracle, tell people about it, because not everyone's going to pick up Mr. Miracle. Hopefully they do, because Tom King's writing Batman and whatever, and hopefully they follow him.
That seems to be the
there.
one I've actually seen. I feel like I've seen quite a few creators, like people in the industry that are like, dude, Mr. Miracle is rad.
Awesome. And that makes me happy, because I think Mr. Miracle is rad, and I'm excited that the character is going to have such a high profile with a great writer. I think Tom King is just one of those writers. Like, he's up in the the modern like storytellers. Like I would put him up there with Scott Snyder and like Jeff Johns and stuff as guys who just writing
he's quickly
great stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
he's earning his spot there for sure.
Yeah. All right. So
here we are.
Okay, all the bands have played and they were good. Like, oh, that was a good band. Flash, they were not a really good opening band. It's cool. Should have got some food. Should have got a beer. Mr. Miracle, they were awesome. Now it's time for the headliner. DC Metal number 2.
So I think there's a lot of good stuff to dig into here to keep it from getting into spoiler territory for people that maybe want to steer clear of that. Maybe a rating and just a general thought, and then we can dig into the spoilers.
Wow. Okay, so you wanted me to give my rating on what it was?
Yeah, dude. Rating right off the bat.
Oh, man. I'm going to say it's a let's go. Yeah, it's not a gotta go yet.
I would agree.
Yeah. It's definitely honked up and weird, man. It's crazy, dude.
It is
it's
equal
crazy.
parts messed up and zany wacky at the same time. And that combination is fascinating to me.
It wouldn't, if it was any other, if it was just a straightforward Batman story like happening in like a Batman comic, I'd be like, what the heck is going on, man? Even if it was because this is kind of like a Justice League story. It's got everybody in the Justice League. But I still would be like, what? But the fact that it is special and that it's, packaged under its own thing as this whole DC metal, and they even prefaced it with like, this is going to be crazy. This is Batman riding dinosaurs. This is Batman like doing things that he shouldn't be involved with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't mean it's as a bad thing. Like, I prefer Batman not to get super engaged in some of these things, but I do like it because it's so the opposite of him. It's kind of cool to see how does this.
I love it.
And Superman even says in the comic, remember, he is only one man, but it's like, that's the thing. He's outsmarting all you fools.
True.
Yeah.
So I would agree. It's a let's go. I would say it's like a strong let's go. It's like at the cusp of passing a let's go for me. And that's really only because it's so early in the story that I feel like it needs to earn that still. Mm-hmm. But man, is it good to see Greg Capullo drawing Batman again.
Dude, it's good to see him drawing the Blue Beetle. It's good to see,
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow, yeah. Like, everybody.
He draws a lot of characters in here, and it's good to see him draw all of them.
Yeah.
I will say that. And I will say I think it's from their words even, that the Batman, is it 0 Year, the one they did, right?
Yeah.
I almost said year one, and that is not correct.
That would be
0 Year.
Be fired.
But I feel like the kind of like the vibe they said they wanted for that was punk rock.
Yeah.
And this is metal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can feel those differences.
Wow, that's a good. Let the music guy make a really great discovery.
So I didn't read 0 Year regularly.
Yeah.
But when I checked in stuff, like you have the purple gloves, you have him having the dirt bike motorcycle kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it was something that felt like young and like rebellious and punk rock about it.
Yeah.
And there's so many things, and I'll even talk about, I feel like I noticed a couple things, and you can tell me if I'm making it up.
Yeah.
That feel like directly like, no, this is like metal. Everything you would think goes along with metal music is represented in some way here.
Okay. Oh, you asking
you ready
me like
to dig
right
in?
Now? Oh, dude, no. Tell me what is it?
So spoilers.
Yeah.
So here's a few things I noticed. So I'll jump to the end of the book first. How about that?
Yeah. Who cares? Do whatever you want.
The Dark Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not feel like the design of each one of those is like fits in with some sort of like metal like persona? You have like the dude wearing like this crazy armor. You have the guy that's like chains and spikes and stuff. You have the kind of like steampunk Aquaman version. Do you know what I mean? Like you think of like any variation on style that you would look for, like when you look for like characters or like album art, stuff like that. Like I feel like all the Dark Knights like represent an aspect of like what you would think would be part of metal like culture.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna have. You kind of have like
you have the big spiky rock dude.
Well,
like you have the giant demon.
The
like
Batgirl looking girl is kind of like Meatloafy, Bat in the Hill style.
Yeah.
Then you have your like you have your like weird like Judas Priest, the Bat Who Laughs looking thing. Then you might even have like your new metal type of looking guys.
Yeah,
That's
like
actually
the
a
like more like
really-
high tech guy is like,
Yeah.
okay, that's like more modern metal. But then you have like
And you have your like
the
weird,
Merciless, like with that armor, is like, okay, that's like
like, super theatrical and like Kiss. And,
Yeah.
things like that. And so I wouldn't even call Kiss metal. Some people might, but
But-
they're more rock. Like
yeah,
that-
but I mean,
I know what
but
you're
you
saying.
know what I mean, though,
get
right?
what you're
Like,
saying.
there's something like that feels like when you look at those, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder probably like took all of what's your stereotypical like what you would think is on like metal album art or in a metal music video,
Yeah.
and let's make a version of Batman for each of those,
Yeah.
which I think is kind of ridiculous and fun all at the same time.
Yeah.
I think the fact that you have like these creepy looking priests for Barbados, that's
Yeah.
totally like a metal thing.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
That's James Dio stuff.
dude, look at Baby Darkseid and look at his hands.
Yeah. He's totally doing the.
He's
the
totally
horns.
doing the horns.
Yep.
So I think there's that aspect of it. I think the aspect, even having Dream as part of it, feels like really metal. Where you have like, I'm this nightmare, like dream reality guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there wasn't much with him this issue. I thought there'd be a little bit more. Because the way
Yeah,
he
with
kinda
him
popped
being
up,
on that page at the end of the last issue, you would think that.
like
Superman putting his fist through Batman's abdomen. Like, there's
That-
just so many things where I'm like, that's so you just
Metal.
think that's so metal.
But that it kind of reminded me of the Injustice Batman. Like
Mhm.
you know, I mean Superman punching Joker like through the heart, you know.
Totally. I think even Swamp
Spoilers.
Thing showing up, that feels like very metal, like a giant like swamp monster.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you know what I mean? So it's like all of those things. I'm like, this feels
Yeah. No, they really
like they're
really,
channeling everything heavy metal. And Batman riding a jet ski through a swamp. I mean, why not, dude? Like, it's just the Legion of Doom coming out of a pit of
Okay.
lava. Like,
That
there's
was
so
cool.
many cool things.
That was cool to see. Now, the only thing I wish they would have done, because here's the thing, for new people, even people like us, there's some stuff I'm just not getting all the references on because I jumped off of Batman for a little bit during New 52.
and he is pulling in from
He is,
everything.
dude, he's got Quarter Owls in here. He's got Super Heavy. So he's going everywhere.
Final
with this stuff.
Crisis,
Final Crisis. Yeah.
Return of Bruce Wayne, all of it.
Yeah, dude, he's going. He's even going Omega Sanction, which I don't know about that, but I'm giving this all the
Final
benefit
Crisis,
of the-
man.
Yeah, it's there. So yeah, Swamp Thing. That page of Swamp Thing looks rad, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, dude, it's so awesome. I want the Swamp Thing to be in a movie so bad.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
he's had 2 movies, but I'm talking about like
like a real thing.
a real freaking cool Swamp.
Is he supposed to be part of
Justice
League Dark?
Yeah, from what I remember, he is, but
That would be cool.
hope so. Okay, so when can we get into spoilers? And just
Sorry,
talk
I already
freely?
started doing spoilers.
Yeah, okay.
I gave spoilers before that.
Okay, so talking freely. The only part I really felt was kind of like ham-fisted was the Clayface part.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, what about that? Just the fact that it was him, the fake out?
yeah, because he knew a lot about Bruce Wayne. I don't know if Bruce Wayne would reveal all of that information to Clayface. I don't have a problem with him acting because you know Boris.
That's what he does.
Yeah, not Boris Karloff, but Basil Karlo. Like, I think that's who this is, Clayface right now, or Matt Hagen, or whatever.
I think that was purely there for the payoff of that panel of
Yeah.
Superman putting his fist through Batman.
Yeah.
Just kind of go, what?
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I just don't. I was like, whatever. Maybe I'm being super picky, and I need to like lay off. But it all was fine when it went to the freaking Darth Vader helmet coming out of the ground, because that Legion of
Yes.
Doom thing is the best. It's the best, dude. I just played it with my kids this weekend, and we were playing with the Imaginext Legion of Doom headquarters, and it's not as cool as you'd want it to, but it does have the shape of that head, and it's just awesome. And that thing looks like a heavy metal cover right there.
Totally. And
know?
and speaking just of like how bananas crazy, like
Yeah.
the things are that are said in this comic book, that scene has to have the one that's the craziest.
Which part?
Where they say you will take the Anti-Monitor's astral brain and you will fire it through the core of the multiverse at the Rock of Eternity and destroy the dark multiverse
gosh.
once and for all. What?
Why we need to make a soundtrack to this? What if we just made a rock opera? of this.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
and
just,
you will take the active monitors. Just like make this.
Dude, Dream is like the Meatloaf like part of
Dream.
this.
Oh, dude. Yeah, seriously.
Dude, so much of this, dude.
So talking about that scene, the one thing I would have appreciated is a little bit of a, like, who are all these people? Because sometimes comics do that. They're like, oh, this is
Yeah,
so-and-so.
you'll get like a little name tag for everybody.
Because I was like, okay, I know that's Vandal Savage. I don't know who this like dude in the background is. And I see Phantom Stranger, see the Wizard Shazam. I don't know who Gold Horn
Morgaine
is. I don't know. You know, and I see.
But you have the Wizard.
I feel like it's
Shazam,
Uncle Sam.
the Wizard.
I feel like it's Uncle Sam to the far left. I don't know who these other two dudes are. That's Ra's al Ghul, and I didn't even know that was Ra's al Ghul until
There looks like a guy next to Ra's al Ghul that looks like Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, it's like this is Ra's al
Like,
Ghul.
Or the Executioner looking dude.
Steve Al
back
Ghul,
there.
Fred Al Ghul. And I feel like in
Bobby
the
Al Ghul,
Yeah,
Joey Al Ghul.
Joey Al Ghul, all the Al Ghouls. The in the foreground, I feel like that's Solomon Grundy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's another Eternal. Yeah, I mean,
That's
he doesn't
true.
die. He's kind of. So I don't know. All these guys are guys that don't die. So I don't know who these other guys. It looks like Wolverine's right there.
And what's interesting too, you have in that top of that page, you have the 3 tribes symbols.
Yeah, the hawk and the.
Which that was an interesting thing too. The tie-in with the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
So again, tying it back into a really, really awesome Scott Snyder Batman run.
Yeah, if you haven't read Court of Owls, that's some good stuff right there. That was like.
You have a comic book that you keep having to rotate around as you read it.
Cool. Oh, dude, that was so cool.
So good, dude.
Yeah, good stuff.
But to bring them in a way where it's like we're the Judas tribe, and that's because we left the bird tribe for the bat tribe.
Yeah.
Which that's rad because when you think of an owl and you're like, oh yeah, like that would make sense. Like you're taking an element of each of those. It just seemed like so, dude. It's just such a great way of doing that.
This is so multi-layered. Like what I hope they do is put like a freaking absolute edition of this out and like call outs to all the stuff. You guys, you have to read this. You got to read this.
Yeah.
You know,
and none of this, and maybe you don't feel this way, so I'll speak for myself. All of these things and all of these references, pulling together all of these various aspects of different stories that have come before.
Yeah.
It all feels like I'm, as they're doing all these things and pulling these pieces together and saying that they're all part of the same thing, I completely buy it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like it just seems to make sense. It fits. It flows together well.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot of like, so if I had to make a complaint, and maybe the story's not done yet, and so some of the stuff is
not maybe for sure the story's not done yet.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, yeah,
issues.
for sure. There's like 5 more issues left or whatever, but the only thing that I have a little bit issue with is it feels like all this is like planned from the get-go. You were always going to be Batman. Like there's this calling on his life. And I kind of like that he's Batman because of his circumstance, not because of some well thought out plan before he was even Batman, So, and
do you think maybe it could be both?
Well, that's where I was going. It could be depending on what story you're reading. Like if you want to read all this other ancillary, like crazy, like Grant Morrison, Scott Snyder stuff.
Dude, read Grant Morrison's Batman run, please.
Some of it's weird though. People I feel like I understand. Where people
no, some of it is for sure weird. But do you feel like that makes it not good?
I wasn't. No, I don't think it makes it not good. I feel like the Return of Bruce Wayne stuff was like the Omega Sanction stuff for me was like, I don't know, man. It was hard going through.
That seemed like means to an end to me, honestly. Because once you got to the new stories, I thought it was great.
Like, maybe don't Omega Sanction because that was weird. Like you can Omega Sanction Superman, but not Batman. For me, it was like that was really hard. It was cool seeing Pirate Batman and all of the, like Puritan Batman, but in the end, you're like, this isn't a weird action figure line. This should be.
Yeah.
But what am I to say? So these little roblins, they're creepy, dude.
So creepy.
Roblins, that's what
they kill the Court of Owls dudes.
Yeah, they
like eat them.
It's super gross, dude. And
I think it's that dynamic that's really interesting in this book. Like you have like really like, whoa, like that's really intense and kind of gross.
Yeah.
But then you have like just crazy over the top stuff where you're like, sure, a jet ski. Why not?
Oh man.
Of course, I mean, his interaction with the Flash is going to be one of my favorite parts. But it was really funny. Like, Flash fact. And he's like, bat fact.
Yeah.
When your head's
cool.
frozen, it weighs 15 pounds. And then he shoots him with an ice ray and he sinks into the water instead of running across it. And I loved that.
So that was cool. It didn't tell us who all the different decoys were. The decoy Batmans. Like, obviously there was Dick Grayson, but
no, they did.
Well, Cyborg calls him out at one point. But...
I was going to say Cyborg or Superman calls him out. So you have Batwoman, you have Clayface, Duke, and there was one other one. I'm pretty sure they said it, dude.
And I knew that Bruce Wayne was going to be in the Bat freaking Ram, or the Battling Ram, or wherever the crap they want to call it. That was actually really cool. Where like Wonder Woman's telling them Damien to pull over. He's like, I'm a 13-year-old boy.
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm already winning.
I'm already winning. It's like a really great like Damien moment, dude.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for.
Listen, lady, I'm a 13-year-old and I'm driving a Bat Hog through the Amazon on a Tuesday morning. I am already winning.
So good, man.
That's good, dude. Freaking Robin, dude.
Well, they said who it was, but I can't find it. So here's another thing I want to talk about that's ridiculous and awesome. Batmanium.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if it's awesome yet.
I just think it's great that was
what is
the
stronger
final thing.
Batmanium or adamantium?
No idea, man.
Batmanium, no. I don't know. This comic
apparently
is so ridiculous. It's so fun.
So it's a reference to something. So I looked it up. I did not know this off the top of my head. Reference to an arc called Super Heavy.
Uh-huh.
And that's when Commissioner Gordon was Batman in a mech suit, right?
Yeah.
But there was a company that manufactured new elements like based on like superheroes. It was the Powers something or other. And it seems to indicate in this book that the Court of Owls was who was paying for that to happen. Which is kind of interesting. Okay. I mean, that he would tie that in retroactively to...
Are you going to make me read Super Heavy?
I'm not making you do anything, man.
Dang it.
You live your life. And here's what this leads to, which I think is fascinating. And maybe you can tell me, you're the Batman expert, so you tell me what you think of this. So Batman is all about being prepared, having a plan, and being like 3 steps ahead, right? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like those are pretty core things to Batman.
Yeah.
I think that's actually one of the most unsettling and urgent things in this story is how not in control of things he feels. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's a really interesting place to put Batman as a character.
Yeah.
Because Superman says multiple times, like, he is scared. Like, Batman is scared.
Yeah, well, that's why when Batman can't control things, that's when things go bad. You know?
And so I think, and the idea that he doesn't, this destiny that supposedly he's made for himself and made himself into these things, and the idea that he's uncovering is that he didn't actually have a choice in that. I don't know. I'm not as hardcore, like I say, like Batman's not my guy, like he's your guy, but
my guy.
Not an appreciator of Batman as much as you are.
Not a Batman appreciator.
but that's really interesting because I think you need, like, that's what makes the best stories is when you take something that's kind of assumed and then you flip it. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, let's really look at that. Is it assumed? Is it actually the case? And I think that pulls me in from this issue, not just all the craziness, but that overall idea as I was thinking about it today is what pulls me in, and I want to read issue 3.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely like bought in. And
but what do you think about that idea though of like Batman isn't as in control as he thinks he is in this story?
Yeah. Oh, I think that's what's great about it is because what it does is it pushes Batman to be more Batman, you know, and you end up seeing like the cool part is like, oh, he totally got tricked. Like like he thought
he had it under control and he was going to keep things from happening.
Yeah.
Then he shows up in the wrong tomb and you're like, oh crap.
And that's what gets interesting once he does get to a place where you can't plan for, what I wouldn't buy is if like, well, I actually planned for this plan to go bad too. Like, no.
No, to see him kind of out of
Yeah.
his depth, I think kind of puts us off kilter a little bit.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, well, what do I expect
Yeah.
then?
Well, here's the thing: Batman's always capable, and even though he's not planned,
He
or-
fought his way back through time.
That's, you know what I'm saying? But only because that's what Barbados wanted.
See, and that's so interesting. Like, that's
Yeah.
because he can prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But this doesn't seem like the straightforward, like, hell yeah, like Batman of Tom King, but
Yeah.
like a little more like, man, like, let's examine like how capable he really is.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's super weird, man. And
Weird and wonderful.
it's weird, like his blood pouring into that little thing below him. Man, it's gonna be.
He turned
interesting.
into a portal.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's
metal.
It's gonna be crazy, and it's completely different than the War of Jokes and Riddles, which
Which I still need to read.
sorry, I'll get you. Which I'm. By the way, I'm just really liking that book, that series. I think it's freaking great, and I like
Sweet.
it. It's smaller.
I bet it is.
It's not in space and whatever. What else?
I want to experience more of that art. Just the few issues I've read.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll get it. I'll try to find them. They're all
pretty
mixed
nice.
up. They're all mixed up somewhere.
It's okay.
So,
But hey, you caught up on Destroyer though, so I mean, there's that.
dude. Yeah. So, okay, are we done with Metal 2?
Yeah, so I'd still keep it as a let's go.
Yeah,
We talked about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
yeah. So yeah, that Destroyer book's really good. Check it out. Go get Destroyer from Boom Studios.
Yeah, Victor Laval.
Laval. That's a good book. So I'm caught
Yep.
up. Caught up on that one. I have like 8 issues of Iron Fist and Flash to read.
Yeah.
So cool.
You can take your time on the
Yeah.
Flash. No rush on those ones.
No rush.
Hey.
The Flash. Hey. All right. So Matt, how you doing? How can people, if they disagreed with you today,
I'm doing all right.
how you doing? People are like, hey, they want to celebrate your decisions and your vocalizations today and your opinions. How can they let you know?
iPhone 8.
On the iPhone 8. What if they want to take a picture of you and then try to use that picture to open up your phone? Would that work?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happens if you grow a beard?
I'm not
Can
going
you
to
open your
have one of
phone?
those phones, so
Can you open your
Let's
phone?
just by
Yeah.
giving it
What
the
if you
blue steel,
FaceTime somebody with
Just-
your phone? Do they open up their phone? What happens?
who knows?
What if you have Batmanium in your phone?
Well, I mean, as long as you haven't been exposed to the other 4 metals, I think you should be okay.
Okay,
And you
well,
haven't
that's
been
good.
you haven't been mantled.
Right.
Mantled.
Mantled. Ooh. Hey.
Dude, I totally got mantled by Barbados.
I totally-
Just mantled me.
I just got mantled. Oh, gosh.
Oh, golly.
So how can they hit you up?
Oh man, that is Matt Ritchie, and that would be MATTRICHEY. Man, that was
You can
Sorry about
find me on Twitter at @J_Rocka. And if you want to hit up the show, you can go on anywhere on social networking, Twitter, Instagram, Let's Go Comic Show. If you want to see us on Facebook, we're at facebook.com/letsgocast, or visit us online at letsgocast.com, where you can go to our merch button and buy some merch. Help support the show, because
check out that merch.
it doesn't take a whole lot, but it takes a little. And
Hey,
plus,
if you're listening to this
Yeah.
on Thursday or Friday, the 14th
man.
or 15th, you get some deals on
yeah,
that,
there's
man.
a sale going on right now, and sometimes there's a TeePublic sale, and you can get the stuff a little bit cheaper. And if you follow us on social media, we'll let you know. So if you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
I wanted to get that shirt, follow us on
Follow us on social media. Go
Yeah.
ahead and check out our YouTube page.
yeah, youtube.com/letsgopodcast. So
Until you do that,
there you go.
then leave us a review and some cool comments on iTunes.
that would be amazing.
And if you do both of those things,
You
will
will
be entered to win some swag.
free swag.
That's through the month of September.
Yeah,
people.
through then we're gonna take it to the end of September. So there you go. All right,
Take it to the end,
take it to the end.
like we are right now.
Right,
We're taking
right
it to
where
the
we
end
are.
of
We're
the
here at
show.
the end. We're falling apart. We are done. So, my name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
Let's go.
Let's go.